the Lui Diaz Podcast.
Comedian part Uber driver.
Well, when we used to have the scooters, that made life so easy.
Pissed off that they got rid of those scooters,
Yeah,
bro.
man, like those things were wonders, man.
Because the best thing about them is that you just
abandon
drop them
ship.
off.
Abandon ship. Yeah.
I'm so sad that they're gone because I had one of the best times I ever had with my daughter on one of those. She came to visit me because she's interstate, right?
Yeah.
That's you, brother.
Hey.
Episode 75.
This is cool, man.
This is sick. Yeah. I'm glad
when I saw it pop up, I was like, yeah, man, how do I get on this?
Or you're on.
Yeah, this is badass.
Yeah, and she came to visit me for a weekend, and I live right on the outer edge of where you were allowed to take them.
Okay.
So luckily we could just walk out my front door and get on these things, and I took my kid all the way from Flemington into the city on these
with the scooters.
So I got to sort of show around the burbs.
Yeah,
like I was like, this is Kensington, this is North Melbourne, and that's where my football team plays, and this is the Queen Victoria Market, and
they're so affordable. They're so affordable as well, man.
Affordable.
Like when I was in Adelaide, they had the beam scooters, and those ones, I paid $9.50 for a pass, and for a week I didn't get charged.
Yes.
Yeah, man, it was awesome.
Is it like an intro pass or something?
Yeah, I don't know what the sorcery of it was. I was like, what is this sorcery?
Yeah. Because I discovered those things because I'm a bit sort of like I do things way later than when I don't jump on the first thing.
Yeah.
You know, I wait a bit. And I'd seen them around Australia, but then I was in Europe for 6 months, and my last stop in Europe was in Helsinki.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to be here.
That's Germany.
Helsinki's in Finland.
Finland. Okay.
Yeah, it's and I'm like, I'm going to be here for 3 days, and the public transport's okay, but I was like, this city seems so cool, and there's just so much to see. I don't know how I'm going to cover it in 3 days. And I was walking through this forest. There's a little forest in the city there.
Yeah.
I was walking through this forest, and the rando scooters are just parked in there.
Oh,
And I
nice.
was like,
it's like a global thing, huh?
It's
like,
time.
Yeah, it's so cool, man.
so 20 euros
Yeah.
got me the entire 3 days.
Oh, that's badass, man.
Yeah.
That's like $20,000 here, though.
And
20
then
euros.
Conversion rate, yeah. That adds up for sure. Yeah, it's great to have you, man. Emo Majok, welcome.
Hey, good to be here, man.
Really great.
Before we get kicking, how'd you come up with this?
Yeah, I tell this story a lot, and basically I come up with it because I had no studio, and I was meeting Sean Collier, Melbourne-based Kiwi comedian, and he texted me that morning. It was a Saturday morning, and he texted me going, because we'd teed it up the Saturday, and he was like, "Where are we meeting?" And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, just meet me in Hosier Lane, and we'll figure it out.
Ah, that's cool, man.
And so I wasn't doing video back then. Actually, I had just these chairs. So that chair there is usually for people to put a bag down if they bought a bag.
Yep.
And I set us up. You see this little footpath? I set us up just down there.
Okay.
And we did our first just audio only recording.
Yeah.
Just sitting right across from each other like this. And there was a big crowd gathered around us. And there was this memorable moment where this chick takes a Polaroid of us.
Okay.
And she comes over and gives it to me.
Ah, that's cool.
And I was like, this is it.
This is it.
Yeah.
I found my studio.
Yeah.
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 Oh, well, congratulations, man. This is new. Like it's right out of it's not something that's been repeated. So well, I've never seen it anyway. This is badass. Congrats.
Yeah. Well, I had this guy in a recent episode that I released. His name.
I'm only bummed that I didn't come up with it now.
So true. Yeah, I stole this for everyone. You can't be the original, the first anymore. I did it first.
Yeah, this is sick.
This guy from LA comes in while I'm recording. It's in one of the episodes. And he strolls in, and he's like, and he goes, dude, I'm from LA, and I've been trying to come up with original ideas of how I'm going to do my podcast. And he's like, I've never seen anyone do
man.
anything
Yeah,
like
dude.
this.
Like my mind's blown from this too, man. And it's so simple, man. Like it's almost like it was crafted for you to do it here.
Well, yeah. Well, then like a few weeks later, Caleb Highland hit me up, and he was like, "Oh, I want to do your podcast. Can I be on it?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." But that day it was raining because, of course, we're outdoors.
Yeah.
And I'm teeing this up like a week or two in advance. I don't know what the weather's gonna be. It was raining. I'm like, fuck, we can still do it in the rain. I got here and I was like, okay, that little bunker protects us from the rain.
Yeah.
And we were completely protected. So it was raining. And the beautiful thing about that recording, unfortunately, because it wasn't with the 360 camera, it was just my phone. I didn't release it in ultra widescreen. But that day, all these people with these colourful umbrellas are walking by. So you got these sick umbrellas.
Yeah.
And there's actually a really memorable moment from that episode where there was, like, it's raining. So there's way less people. But there's this gorgeous Chinese woman and her husband, and she's in this red skirt and she's dancing in the rain.
Oh, wow.
Like, and you can see it all in the backdrop behind Caleb the whole time. And then she comes over and then she's like, does this. And I'm like, you know, this thing isn't just a cool idea. It's creating real memorable moments.
Yes, for sure, man. Like I'm looking around right now and it seems that everyone's eyes are captive to it.
Yeah, captivated by it. You're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're using it as a backdrop to take their pictures and stuff. This is some original shit.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
well,
man.
I've been following you for a little while, and I wanted to get you on, but then I didn't realize where you were based or whatever.
Perth, but I've been moving around quite a lot.
Yeah.
But with that, one thing's consistent. This time of the year, every year, I'm here in Melbourne.
You're here
for the festival.
You're a local for a month.
It's my favorite festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard of the Perth Fringe.
Perth Fringe. That's home. So
Yeah.
I go back there once a year for it as well.
Yeah.
But Melbourne and Perth Fringe is Melbourne's almost like my second home.
Yeah.
Like I spend just as much time in Melbourne as I do in Perth.
Yeah.
If not, just a couple weeks less.
And which state did you grow up in?
Perth.
All right, so
Yeah,
you're a Perthie.
Yeah. Perth.
What do you call Melburnians?
Perthan.
Perthan?
Perthan.
Yeah, I'm a Perthan. Yeah, that's good. Okay, it works.
Yeah.
And so, cool, man. Well, yeah, thanks for coming by. And thanks to our audience. This is episode 75. Everyone that's come on this journey, thank you. If you're here for the first time, like, subscribe, share this episode with a mate. Emo is a guy I've been looking forward to having on this podcast for ages. So this is a real treat.
It's a pleasure to be up on here.
And yeah, you know, what I do with all my guests is we just chat. We banter, and then we chat about your story and try and figure out how I piece together the gaps.
Let's do it.
Like where you got started, like where you from?
I'm from South Sudan. So my family fled the war, and I was born in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And then we were sponsored and brought over to Australia back in 1996.
Yeah.
So we've been here for, it'll be 29 years this year.
How old are you now?
I'm 36. I'll be 37.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that baby face.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be 37 in August.
So what, you were like 7 when you got here?
I was
6 or
8.
7?
I just turned 8.
Okay.
Yeah. I just turned 8.
And then, could you speak English when you got here?
Nah, man.
Okay. You had no English?
Not a lick.
Yeah. Same as me.
Even the word okay was not in my vocabulary.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I came from Venezuela. I was 4 years old. And
Okay.
I had no English.
Yeah.
You know, and so
you wouldn't be able to tell that you're, apart from the Diaz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm such a bogan now.
It's so easy to catch on here in Australia, right?
Well, it's endearing.
Like,
It's an endearing quality.
Like the first thing that happens is like your lack of care. Like the chilled attitude comes out when you spend enough time here.
And it comes out through osmosis. Like you see how chill your neighbours are.
Yeah.
Like thongs and a barbecue.
And you're like, I don't want to be chilled too.
Yeah. I want to be chilled like that guy. Yeah. Who was I talking? You know who I met actually because of the festival just recently?
Who?
Chris Franklin.
Chris Franklin, that's my man.
Oh
Yeah. Chris Franklin's like my mentor.
Yeah, right.
The
same Chris Franklin?
Chris Franklin,
He's mentoring people?
No, so when I first started out doing stand-up comedy, the next part of my career was to find something that had a residual income.
Right, okay.
So this guy Chris Dooley does these mining tours.
Uh-huh.
So you go up in the mines. You'll set up. It'll be like over a span of like a month, 2 months.
Yep.
Where it's just like 3 weeks at a time, come back for 5 days, or if there's enough work, it's just for the full duration.
Yeah.
So, but that's consistent money. So that happens once or twice a year.
Yeah,
so
right.
I was like, all right, cool. If I can fill in that little gap there, then Perth Fringe is beginning of the year. I'll have this residual income that happens every year.
Yep.
Chris Franklin was doing it at the time.
Yeah.
Because he's been doing it with Dooley for many years. So I hit him up and I was like, yo, how do I get on these Dooley tours? And he goes, I'm actually performing at the Mandra Comedy Club, which is his tonight No, this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Come introduce yourself, and he might even get you to do 5. And if he likes what he sees, he'll get you on. So I came. I did. He gave me 10 minutes. Within 5 minutes of me doing the 10 minutes, he whispers to Chris Franklin, goes, "Let's get him." Yeah. So Chris was instrumental for that.
That's sick. Yeah.
And then we did the mining tours, and those mining tours are like gladiator school.
Right. Explain it to me. The mining tour takes you through a mine, like out in Perth.
Yeah. So like the gold mines,
It's an abandoned mine though. It's
no,
not in use.
no. It's the actual. It's the camp, like the actual campsites.
Oh, okay.
So where
right.
the miners stay at.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So you don't go into the actual mines.
Sorry. I was thinking that you're fucking putting the headlamp
No,
on
no.
and you're chiseling.
They got us staying in what they call dongers, where the actual employees and stuff work, and it's like a village. Like there's bars and there's all kinds of stuff there.
Yep.
So we come and do the entertainment for them.
That's so sick.
But what you're doing is essentially these people have been out in the sun for 12 hour shifts.
Yeah.
1 hour to get to work.
Yeah.
2 hours to come back.
Yeah.
That's 14 hours essentially that they are out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come back and the time slot that we've got is essentially when they've just arrived. So they have to choose between a shower, dinner, and and like possibly doing their laundry and stuff.
Yeah.
And they choose the show because the show's only just gonna be there for one night.
Yeah.
But you can see that they're essentially very tired. So when you can claim their attention, like then you're doing a good job.
Okay.
So night after night, you have to figure out how to have their their focus and have them on board. So and then once you've finished doing those tours and you go back out to do the comedy clubs, you realize how hard what you were doing was because it's just a breeze at the comedy clubs. You just like knocking them all out the park. You know what I mean? So that made me a better comic.
Yes.
Yeah, because I went through that gladiator school.
That's interesting. Yeah, you do. I see. I'll go to different open mics here in Melbourne from time to time. Some on a Wednesday night or whatever. Even on a Sunday. It's like you walk into the room and you're like, oh, I've seen this comic kill before, but what's happening here?
Yeah.
And it's like they haven't learned that like at different times of the week, that these guys are just freaking tired and they just need to be woken up.
Yeah, exactly, man. And once you've done those crappy rooms, and that's why I always encourage comedians of all kinds, do every room. Yeah. Like you don't want to just do the comics lounge. That room that has 500 people in capacity. Beautiful room, absolutely love it. But without doing those shit bars that teach you how to handle a situation where the audience are not with you, that can only be taught or learnt in those conditions. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then when you get into those big rooms, you walk through them like it's nothing because of the hassle that you've gone through, the mud that you've had to climb through, the shit farm. You know what I mean? Like it's a learning thing. You know what I mean? And I think every bit of those lessons are required. Yeah. Because if you ever want to do big theaters or big arenas and stuff, doing the comics lounge is that small room. Everything is a learning curve. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Forgot what I was going to say about Chris Franklin, but I reckon he's the Aussiest bloke I've ever met.
Oh yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, Chris the bloke. Yeah.
And then so I only met him the other night. Yeah. I met him through Lars Caliu.
Yeah, that's my man.
Yeah. So I met him through Lars. Lars was like, "Oh, you got to get Chris on." I was like, "Who's Chris?" He was like, "Chris Franklin. He wrote the film Bloke." I was like, "Bloke? That one I was singing when I was 16? That one?" Yeah. And then I met him in person. He's got the flip flops on. Dongs, and he's like perpetual, like he's got it stubby, like super glued to his hand almost. Like it's just I haven't seen him without a VB in his hand.
Shout out to Chris Franklin, man.
Yeah, he's awesome. Hopefully I'll get him on the pod next week. But
the festival finishes this Sunday. Yeah. So you have to...
he's going to be here till Anzac Day.
Fantastic. Yeah. Because what I was going to say is you have to be quick on it because a lot of the people will be scrambling back to their respectable homes.
So, for the first time, I'm doing 6 recordings in 3 days.
Okay.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Because
there you go.
I started sort of going out like in the festival just like last week.
Okay.
and then I'm meeting all these people, and then I'm sort of teeing up here and there, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm out of here soon. So then I had to take Thursday afternoon off work.
Yeah.
I had to do today. I usually just do Saturdays, but 2 yesterday, 2 today,
Yeah.
2 tomorrow.
There you go, man.
Yeah, and hopefully 2 next week.
Do you know who's fantastic for this kind of concept?
Yeah, right.
Carl Legacy.
Carl Legacy.
Yeah, he prides himself on king of riffs. Like he riffs.
Carl.
Yeah.
We got to do this sometime.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
Yeah, he's from Liverpool.
Oh, right.
But he's in Melbourne right now for the festival, just doing spots. He's one of the best MCs in the game. So he's just out here doing spots.
So I might miss him this time around.
Yeah, you could probably get him on Sunday if you wanted to. Like it just really depends on how much you're trying to squeeze into your calendar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm already wrecked.
Yeah.
You know, also like I just got off the last recording with Gemma Bailey, and we just had a chat, and I was like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And then you sit down, we turn the mics on, and I'm back, baby. It does.
It's almost like you haven't skipped a beat, huh?
Yeah, it gives me a lot of energy doing this.
Yeah.
I love doing this.
Nah, this is cool, man.
So you came back. So you came here when you were 8.
When I was 8 years old, yeah.
And you had brothers and sisters and that?
Yeah, I got an older brother, and my younger sister came with us as well.
Yeah.
But we've since got another 2 sisters. So
Yeah, right.
Like, there's 5 of us all up.
Okay.
So 3 sisters, 1 brother.
And what? So were you the funny one in the family? Was that what it was?
My brother was a funny one. But we're both funny. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
Funny fam.
I learned to hone in on my skill. My brother was just naturally funny.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He was just like a riffer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. We need those in society.
Yeah, for sure.
We need those. Like people ask me, would you stand up sometime in the way? I'm like, you know what? No. You know, I like just, I'll be the class clown at the pub. I'll tell a story. But like, I don't know if I see myself on stage. You know what I mean?
Everybody got their lane, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know your lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of lane, this is a super cool lane as well, man. Like, the first year when I came out to Melbourne, I had seen, I think Will Smith was talking about coming out here, and like the walls with the canvas, and I was like, I gotta go out and see some of Melbourne. So who's my partner right now, Aliya, and I ventured out and came through these alleyways, the one near Culture Kings as well. It was just so beautiful.
Well, this is the one with Culture Kings.
Yeah. But there's another side
there's
of it,
another
right?
one. Yes, that's Russell Street.
Where the Biggie Smalls big statue is.
Right.
The Biggie Smalls painting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, now you're here. This must be a trip for you then.
Yeah,
I was walking through that.
This is it's a trip down memory lane. That's for damn sure, man.
Yeah.
Like I like this. Like it's beautiful that they encourage people to kind of it's a draw.
Yeah, he's constantly here in this laneway. He does heaps of art here.
Nice. So how does getting can anyone just bring a little and then, or do you have to?
100. This laneway is for anyone to bring their can of paint.
Oh shit!
And do whatever they want.
There you go, huh?
And so because of that, the scene changes. Right?
Okay.
So now that I have a catalog of episodes out,
yeah,
like you're now going to see go back 10 episodes and like this wall's
different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Like, my backdrop is completely different 10 episodes ago.
So you gotta constantly write podcasts.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the neon sign sort of that comes with me.
Okay.
But I don't mess with the backdrop.
Yep.
I just let it be what it is. Although Temple did that. This guy did that for me today.
Oh, nice.
He was like, Louis, I'm going to write your name there. I was like, no, don't do that. Don't mess with the artwork because I don't want to I want to play it as it lies, like a golf term.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
But he was like, nah, I'm doing it. You need to believe in yourself more. I'm doing it. You don't believe in yourself enough. You're smarter than you think. I'm like, all right, Temps, you win. Let's do it.
Shout out to Temps.
Yeah, Temps is cool, man. It's been a wild ride. I've been getting all kinds of guests on. And it's a generalist podcast, right? So it's not just limited to comedians.
And it goes on Spotify and everything. All
you're going to be on Spotify and YouTube.
Hell yeah, man.
And
send me that link.
You can watch it on Spotify as well.
Okay.
So I upload the video.
There you go.
And so last year, one of my stats, because Spotify sends the Wrapped, Spotify Wrapped. That's where they send you like a message in like December every year going, these are your songs of this year.
Yes.
They do that for creators as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
that's what's up.
Yeah. And then they sent me my raps. Like, this is how many people listen to your podcast. This is this and that.
Yeah.
And then they sent me this stat. Your podcast is in the top 25 video podcasts on Spotify.
That's what's up, dude.
And I
Hey,
was like,
hey,
hey. Player.
Congrats.
Yeah, that was nice. And I had only done like 7 video episodes by that time as well.
Okay.
But I think it's because it's the laneway so captivating
Yeah.
that people actually want to sort of stick around and watch. Like,
Yeah.
when you're watching a podcast that's just in a studio, you'll be like, oh yeah, studio, stick it in your pocket and just listen to the rest
You
of
should
it.
have a like a QR code thing.
Bro, look down.
You're already ahead of the game, man. You're already ahead of the game.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, because then they
You
can
should
just
get a neon sign.
All right, Captain Obvious. I don't know if you guys can see this as well. There's like flyers just floating around. None of them have landed on me right now, but it would be a bad look. It would be like one of those commercials when you try to pick up one of those little Ethiopian kids and there's one fly just land.
It's all over their lips and everything. Well, lucky for you, flies love me for some reason, and I'm pretty sure I put deodorant on every morning.
Dude, I've had them linger before after I've had a shower. I think it's the moisturizer. So when you supply them with like a moist canvas, like they like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so many connotations there with the moist canvas. It's like, where did my mind go just then?
The word moist.
I've been hanging out with too many comedians. That's what it's so Perth. All right, then talk us through. What was it like being an immigrant here in Perth? Because, I had Joe White on.
Yeah, that's my
49.
brother. Yeah.
And
He's
talked about
he's
his
expecting
journey.
a kid right now as well.
Yeah, he is. He should be any minute now.
Yeah,
any day.
Yeah.
May or June or something.
By May 10th.
Yeah.
I've got it written in my calendar. I think I just put it like a general.
Okay.
But she's ready now.
You've got it written in your calendar.
Yeah.
You're a loyal mate.
Yeah, that's my brother.
How many mates write their mate's birth on their calendar?
Yeah, that's my brother.
That's loyalty, bro. Everyone needs a mate like you.
Yeah, I try my best.
I'm lucky if I get a text message from my mates on my birthday. You know what it's like.
Yeah. Like I'm lucky if I get a phone call as well.
Yeah.
You know? But it's a big moment. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
I'm excited for him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Melissa, shout out to Joe and Melissa.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He took a chance on me. I had a couple of guys on before him, and I met him at the Comics Lounge.
Oh, nice.
And I saw him on stage, and I was sort of out in the front bar. I was like, "Hey man, do you want to be on my podcast?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "All right."
Yeah, he's
all
good
right.
people. Like Joe's good people. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just rocked up, and we did it.
Yeah.
But he's got a hell of a story.
Yeah.
And so I didn't like. So he's from Ethiopia originally, and then went to Sudan.
Yeah.
And he was born in.
We had like a minority exchange.
Yes.
I was born in his country. He was born in mine. It was like different parts of history.
Yeah. So you both sort of crossed each other. Are you
Yeah.
a similar age to Joe?
So he's 39 right now. I'm 36.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So he'll February 14th.
But essentially, it was the same war and thing that was caused both your families to.
Yes, exactly. And Sudan and Ethiopia share borders.
Yeah.
So at any given time, one country might be going through strife and the other might be all right. So you can't you run.
Yeah, right. You just skip over to the other country.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We can't do that here in Australia.
No.
You got to swim a long way.
Well, we got that. We got the guts of Australia.
Like, you mean the outback?
Yeah. So like, I've always wondered what they meant by like F off or full. Like very empty.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been in the center of it, but there's nothing.
No.
Nobody in there.
And you can drive for days.
Yeah.
Without seeing a thing.
Yeah. I've heard about the Nullarbor, which.
Yeah.
That open plane.
So you never driven it before?
From the west coast to the east coast? No, I have not. I've driven all around the Western Australia.
Yeah.
That would
have been sick.
That was because we were forced to.
Why?
So during COVID,
Oh.
we worked in our respectable states, right? So,
Yeah.
So that's when I was doing those mining tours.
Oh.
Yeah. So I got to see the Western Australia outback.
So you could only perform in WA, of course, because your state was locked down.
We had our borders shut to anyone.
Yes.
Like Melbourne, you guys weren't even allowed out anyway.
Yeah.
But Western Australia, we could only work within it. So we found out exactly how fruitful our state was in terms of work. Like we had plenty of work. I mean, all the clubs started opening back up again as well. So all these pop-ups. I was putting on my own shows as well. It was a very profitable time during COVID.
Oh man,
especially after being starved of entertainment for a long period of time.
Yeah. As a Melburnian during that time, it felt like WA was like completely closed off.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even know what was going on in there. We couldn't even see anything from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when your neighbors pulled the blinds down. And
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
What are you doing?
Yeah. But you're saying, because we thought, oh, they're stuck over there. But you're saying, hey, we weren't stuck. Like we were doing stuff.
No, man. Like I would never have seen the Outback if it wasn't for COVID. So
I love that.
I had
silver lining of
yeah.
COVID.
So I've seen the bottom of Australia, and I've seen the top of Western Australia, the bottom of it, and I've seen the top. I went as far as Port Hedland, and I've gone as low as I think Shark Bay and all those little areas down there.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, so like I've seen WA.
Yeah, and you did it by car, obviously, or bus or whatever.
Did it by car, but we also did some of it by plane.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, so for some of those 3-day ones, we flew in, but for the ones where we had several dates, like 3 weeks at a time, where we're doing a show tonight, show tomorrow night.
This guy. Here I am. You learn something new every day. I didn't realize you could be a FIFO comedian.
Yeah, man. I'm a FIFO comedian right now. Like I do cruise ships, so like we started doing the festival. I think it was March 20th. The festival I think started, and just last week I had to fly out for 5 days to overseas.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
I flew to Sydney, and then we ended up in New Caledonia.
Right,
which
so you
is
did
like
a cruise.
Yeah, I did a cruise, and then I flew back on the 15th.
Is it you and a bunch of other comics that know each other kind of thing? Is that how it works?
At any given time, there's 2 comedians on board.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's 4.
Right.
But
so you pick some up on the way?
No, they fly in from wherever it is that they come from as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so the guy that I was working with, Taran, they flew him in from New Zealand. He's a New Zealand comic. But you get people from they fly me from Perth, people from Sydney, people from like all over the place.
So you're a full-time comic. You're a full-time.
Yeah, full-time comic. Yeah, I've been doing comedy for a couple of years now, just as a full-time job. Yeah.
What's that like, bro? What's it like doing it full-time?
It's good, man, but it's like you got to remember, like you're self-employed, so like you're in charge of ensuring that your team is on the ball. Like my agent books all my cruise ship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Rosemary. So she sometimes because I'm all over the place. So I've given her like power of attorney.
Yeah.
So if an offer comes in, she has every right to accept it on my behalf.
Yes.
On my behalf. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But she also knows what it is that I'm Xing out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when May right now, if something came in and it came in at midnight, she would say yes, he'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she knows that
nice.
I'm a workhorse.
You got a team.
Yeah, I got a team.
Sick, bro.
I got TV agent Smith and McDonald. And then my management is based in the UK. That's Mick Perry.
That's
That's
awesome, bro.
Yeah.
You got to this point with that team, and
Yeah.
then at some point you were doing another job and comedy. I imagine you were working on something else.
Yeah. So towards the end of me doing this full time, I was doing a little bit of construction, which was on Thursday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have my kids Monday to Wednesday, and then I'd drop them off after school, and then I'd do construction on Thursday morning, Friday morning. But Thursday night I'd do comedy, and Friday night I'd do comedy. Saturday I'd do comedy, and then Sunday it would be my only rest day.
Yeah,
and I'll do it all over again. Like I used to find myself falling asleep during the, because I was just burnt from both ends. Because I needed the construction job to pay for the rent, so I could have my kids, but I needed the comedy so I could excel. You know what I mean? So like it was a very rough period of my life when I had to do that.
Well, it's similar to the phase I'm in at the moment. I've still got a full-time job. I mean, this isn't being monetized at all. I do this because I love it.
All in due time, though, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, all in due time.
But I do it because I love it. But it's also like a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. I like to talk to other people that have been in that phase before.
Yeah, man. Like I like looking
How
back.
did you manage that?
Like looking back right now, like I smile. Like
That's good.
I smile just looking back.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
We really did that, huh?
You got here.
Yeah, because one,
Yeah.
I got 3 kids, so food needs to be in the fridge.
Yeah.
2, for me to have them, I needed my own apartment.
Yeah.
So I had to do the construction on Thursday, Friday, because I wasn't at that part of my career where comedy was a full-time, it's sustaining everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no way around doing construction on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because I got my kids. You know what I mean? So there's only 2 days that I could ever do that, and that's Thursday, Friday. But that was the 2 nights where the two mornings where I've also got comedy the night before. So I'm finishing and going home at midnight, and I'm waking up at 5 a.m. to go do the 6 a.m. shift for the construction. So yeah, when I say we're getting it from the mud, we got it from the bottom. You know what I mean? So yeah. And it was. I did that for about maybe 6 months before I started doing the dually tours.
Right.
Yeah. So that was in September, and then obviously Perth Fringe comes in January. Yeah. And then by then I was in a good position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you got up on stage and you were like, yeah, this is for me?
Yeah, I did. So when I entered Raw Comedy, I was about 20 gigs into stand-up comedy. I entered Raw Comedy, and I ended up winning the state finals. And they flew me down to Melbourne, this time back in 2018, this time of the year.
Can you explain Raw Comedy to me again?
Raw Comedy is the world's biggest amateur stand-up comedy
And
competition.
it's here?
Yeah. So
like Australia-wide?
Yeah, it's Australia-wide, and then if you win here, they fly you to Edinburgh to go compete on a global scale. You know what I mean?
So you can so you win your state one, and then you come to do the national comp.
And
When
then
you win the national comp,
you
you get to fly to Edinburgh.
So they fly you over to Edinburgh, and you get to perform at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is cool.
So you won your state. You won WA.
Yeah, man. I was
WA Raw Comedy champion, everyone. Woo! Yeah, ring a ding ding. That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. I
No,
just
it's
couldn't
okay.
help myself. You how often do you meet a state champion at anything? You know what I mean?
It was surreal, man. Especially when I did it, because I remember being so green in it, and them bringing us out to the Melbourne town hall, and there was like thousands and thousands of people watching the show, and I remember thinking to myself, I need that for my show. Yeah. Like this gotta be my audience for my career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been chasing that high ever since, and I've done audiences that size, but the goal is to do rooms for people to leave their house, tie their laces, to come watch me. In audiences that size. So.
Bro, that's brilliant.
And we're gonna get there.
Yeah,
slowly but surely.
But yeah, I want to go back to that show though, and so like your first laugh that you got, was it like? Do you remember it? Do you remember like what I'm trying to get to? I'll spit it out. Spit it out, Louis. What I'm trying to get to is like, all right, you've decided you want to do stand up.
Yeah.
You've written some material. You never tested out on a live audience of strangers before. I want to know about that.
That first laugh.
Yeah.
So I did my first ever gig, which was at a place called Shapiro's. When you get your first laugh, because essentially before you jump up on stage, well, at least for me, the anxiety used to be crippling.
Oh, really?
Like, I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated how I felt just before. Like, so let me break it down. Leading up the week of, because I had 3 months to prepare for this, and I didn't start writing until
the old last minute uni assignment thing.
So the week off, I'm like, oh, it's getting close, and then that's when the anxiety started like really coming on, and then it's like 3 days before, and then you're like, oh my god, 2 days before, the day of, I'm at work, I'm on the lollop, which is like a forklift, and I'm reciting what it is that I think sounds funny, and I'm voice recording it while I'm at work, and then work finishes. Now it's 7 hours until showtime, and then I'm like, oh crap, 5 hours until showtime. Oh, now we're getting changed to go to showtime. Now I'm back in the green room, waiting for 6 acts before I jump on stage. So it was just levels of anxiety.
The anticipation built up for such a long period of time.
Yeah. So then it just and then now the act before you's on stage, and you're
Are they getting laughs too, bro?
yeah, so whether they're bombing or they're getting laughs, you can't hear nothing.
Yeah.
Because you're in your own head now. You're ready to go in the bathroom 4 times. Yeah, you got this eerie feeling in your gut. You feel like throwing up. And then they're like, ladies and gentlemen, the next comedian, it's his first time. Makes a noise for Emo. And you come outside and you're like, oh my God, what have I signed myself up for? What have I signed myself up for? And you get your material in, and then you get your first laugh, and you're like, ha!
No way.
All right, this is cool.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and then you're going.
It's working.
Yeah, you're going at it, man, because you get your first laugh. You're like, all right, cool, they're feeling this. And so then it's like an adrenaline shot.
Yeah.
So then you're like, all right, I got some more. And then you're whacking it. Before you know it, 5 minutes is up, and you're like, oh. It's done.
What a thrill.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, how do we do this again?
Sounds like an orgasm, bro.
Yeah, and
it's like the the date, the dinner.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
The cup of tea.
Yeah.
The kiss.
Yeah, foreplay.
Bang.
Yeah, and then it's done.
And then it's done.
And you're like, I want to do that
I want to
again.
get out of here.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
But I want to. How would you?
When do we do this again?
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
We exchange numbers. Should we call you an Uber home?
Yeah. See you again.
Yeah.
So you had that see you again moment.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the thing of beauty, bro.
Yeah, and I got the bug from my
That was
first.
Shapiro's.
Shapiro's. Yeah. The Brisbane bar. It's called it's called Oasis Comedy Club now.
Right.
But yeah, shout out to Oasis Comedy Club.
Dude.
But yeah,
That's you tell that story really well, bro.
no, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, got good.
Because I can relate to those. I can relate, to sometime when you're waiting for something all day.
Yeah, yeah, man. And I just I cannot forget that gross feeling that I felt in anticipation of it. Because in a lot of cases, when you're excited when you're about to do something super cool, like for example, like if you're about to go to a roll show or like a theme park, there is no anxiety that comes with that.
No, you're right.
All you've got is that I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. But with stand-up comedy, it's the other way around. Like you signed yourself up for it, but all you're doing is wishing for more time. You're like, oh my God, that is today. Oh no.
And you had
It's in
3
4
months.
hours.
You had 3 months of that.
Yeah. It doesn't, because you put it in the back of your mind, and you kind of just
Which is good.
Yeah, you put it in the back of your mind, and then you kind of like I'm just talking based on my experience. Yeah, and you kind of just wish away that time, but then while you're on that stage, you can't get you can go for it, man. You can't get enough time. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me when I talk to, because I've been talking to a lot of comics, and when I hear all their different stories, and I was talking to Dan Borman yesterday, Kiwi comedian based in Edinburgh now, and he was telling me about the opportunity that he got to do his first show.
Okay.
And it was like a pretty big deal. Like this person had approached him, it was a pretty big deal to do this show.
Yeah.
And he goes, he got high as the day of and didn't show up. And it took him, I think he said it took him like 6 years to come back and to get the guts to come and do another show.
Oh, really?
So he bailed on his first show because he was high.
Yeah.
And then he didn't. It took a long time
to build up the courage
to just get it done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm imagining what the the sliding doors moment of your story in that time was like. Okay, the anticipation. You're back in the green room.
Yeah.
I mean, some other person, not you, but some other person, could have got to that moment and just kind of like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I got one of my boys in Perth actually, Aru. South Sudanese fella, real funny dude. Been trying to do stand-up comedy for years. And I talked to him and he's like, "Yo, I'm about to do my first bit," and he goes, Can I tell you the truth? I've signed up 5 times and I've gotten as far as getting in the green room and then leaving." And he said that he's done that.
He's told this to you.
Yeah. He goes, "I've gone as far as getting to the green room and leaving."
5 times.
Yeah, like it happens. Like
It's like reverse exposure therapy. Like that's the one thing that you don't want to repeat that habit.
Yeah.
'Cause,
And he's never jumped up on stage.
But you reckon this guy's he's funny, yeah?
He's funny, yeah. Aru's funny, very funny, yeah.
So all he needs to you just got to get up there and see that he can do it.
Right
That's the
next
thing.
to dying.
So
Right next
she
to
just
dying.
did a little dance move.
Right next to dying, public speaking is a human's biggest fear.
I was talking about that with Gemma Bailey just before you came on.
Yeah.
She was like, "Yeah, I did this nude show in Adelaide. Have you heard of the nude show?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, so you're telling me that you, as a comedian, essentially do public speaking, but on top of that, you're trying to make people laugh with jokes you've written, so that's even harder. And one of the biggest fears of people is being exposed like naked
Yeah.
in public.
Yeah.
So you're doing all
Layers.
3.
Yeah, there's layers right there.
So I mean, it's a huge fear. I mean, that's one of the reasons I would just not do it. It's just because
Yeah,
the intimidation of a crowd.
when you feel like it's your calling, right? And nothing ain't nothing gonna stand in your way about it.
Yeah.
Which is the like my biggest approach for why I
Yeah.
am successful in stand-up comedy is my fear of public speaking and anxiety. I wanted to combat that.
Oh, so you had it. Yeah.
Yeah. I massive anxiety, dude. Like I remember how weak that made me feel. And I'm not one to ever feel that I'm weak or a victim. So like I was like, yeah, we're gonna combat this.
You overcome this.
Yeah.
This like fog. It's like a fog.
Yeah. I become quite obsessive when it is that there's something that I feel that I need to overcome.
So have you had other experiences like that with other things in life where you're like, I need to overcome this?
Yeah, like I was a smoker. So this April 22nd, like as in like next week, will mark my 1-year anniversary since I quit smoking cigarettes and vape. Yeah. So and I overcame that because I saw myself as a cigarette fiend. I was like, I've never considered myself as someone that's addicted to something.
This is too real right now, by the way.
Cigarette had a hold on me. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Like I would spend my last bit of money to get a packet when I knew good and well that money could have gone towards other things.
Yes.
I mean, so
I can relate to that.
yeah, so I quit. A year ago.
Alcohol, gambling, done it all.
Yeah, it was so simple to quit too. Like I read a book.
What was it called?
The Alan Carr Easy Way to Quit.
It's specifically for smoking.
Smoking and vaping. Guess who else quit? My boy Dan Rosario.
Oh, Dan Rosario.
Yes, I sent him the audio book, and he quit off it as well. It's just an audio book. I used to just listen to it while I'm driving to gigs or while I'm on a flight. I just listen to it, and then by the last,
what's the source?
I don't know what the sorcery of it is, dude. But by the last page, the dude like technically, like he's like hypnotizing you. So he says it over and over. So Alan Carr is this British author.
Yeah.
White British author. And in the book,
Audio book.
Yeah, he calls you a slave like 56 times. That's all my black ass needed to hear. You know what I mean?
That is some
like,
damn
you're a
good
slave.
reverse
You're
psychology.
a slave. You're a slave. Yeah, you're like, no. No.
That is genius psychology, bro.
But he's like, why does it that you smoke? It's doing nothing for you.
Yeah.
Like he says it in such simplistic terms for anyone to understand.
Yeah.
And then by the last page, he goes, you smoke the whole time while you're doing it. By the last page is a ritual. He goes, pull out your last cigarette, light it up, inhale it. How does that make you feel right now? He goes, he keeps talking about You're still having your cigarette. You're having your last cigarette. And then he goes, if you haven't finished your last cigarette yet, and you're coming towards the end, when you finish, ash it out. So then you're ashing it out, and then he goes, now grab everything that is connected to that cigarette and dispose of it.
Like the lighter.
The lighter, the ashtray, your packet of cigarettes, you dispose of it, and then he goes, you are now free.
Oh, bro, that is some
Dude,
hardcore.
It tells you are now free. I had my last cigarette at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning, and
I'm getting chills.
yeah, I woke up the next morning. I'm brushing my teeth. Getting ready, getting in the shower. Going to the airport to go pick up my missus because she was landing the same morning. Like we had done the same book.
Oh, together. Cool.
Yeah, so we're like, let's quit together.
Yeah.
So I had my last cigarette the night before, knowing I'm about to be with her, and she's already she's just done her last.
She disposed of her stuff too.
Yeah, so so by the time
That's
I get to the airport, and then I realized that it was 3 hours. It had been 3 hours since I thought of a cigarette.
Yeah. Wow.
The first thing I'm doing when I'm waking up is I'm going outside to have a cigarette.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what was your normal routine?
I'm at the airport now, and I'm like, I think I must have walked past someone having a cigarette, and I was like, huh.
Slave.
I haven't even like, it wasn't even a thought in my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had already gone through 3 hours without the fact that I hadn't had one.
That is sorcery.
Yeah, man. I haven't had one since.
That's brilliant, bro.
Yeah, but
Well,
I'm that guy that used to have a vape on flights, and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that is full on. That's a success story.
Yeah.
So you've overcome quite a lot.
Yeah, but like I said, I obsess over things that I set, goals that I set.
Yeah.
I become obsessive about them.
So what are your current goals? Like, what are you obsessed about at the moment? I mean, obviously
being the best damn comedian that I can be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's an ongoing.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing goal right now. So like, it's like how long's a piece of string? I mean.
Yeah.
I want to do theaters. I want to do 10,000, 15,000. Like I want to be the best damn comedian that I can be. I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm in competition with myself. Yeah.
That's good.
So,
that's a good mindset. Yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy, they say.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And I refuse to count how much you got in your pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And so talk to me about how you then, like you set that, because it sounds like that's a very abstract goal. I want to be the best I can be, the best comedian I can be. Yeah. How do you break that down into like milestones? Where you can sort of congratulate yourself and pat yourself on the back on the way and go, this is a milestone.
So at first, it was doing your little 5-minute spots, and then getting the paid spot was the next bit of.
So what was your first paid spot then?
My first paid spot was doing the comedy lounge. I did like the bar shows.
Yeah.
But when I got into the club, I did my first ever comedy lounge. So they give you like 5 to 7.
Yeah.
So that was the first ever paid spot. It was like $50 at the time. Yeah. And then you go from that to getting your 7 to 12. So then you're in the $150 mark. But that's club. You can do headlining spots, which like bar shows, or you can there's so many different elements of it. So when I found that I was in the clubs now, doing shows with peers that I looked up to, and they're chucking me on before the headliner now. So I'm like, cool. How do I become the headliner, and how do I become the MC? Because MC is as high as of a pay as headlining, because you're there for like 2 hours essentially. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, how do I become an MC? So then now I'm practicing on how to become an MC. Okay. So I dedicated my whole last year was dedicated to the whole year before last year was dedicated to learning how to become an MC. Right. So then I became an MC, and then now I MC at the biggest clubs in the country, Comedy Lounge, Comics Lounge here in Melbourne, Sit Down. Like I MC all the major clubs in the country now. You know what I mean?
That's wild.
And that's because I set that goal to become an MC.
Yeah.
But to become an MC, it means that you're able to do crowd work. So that's made me a better comedian now because I'm faster on my feet. And it's if a cup drops on the ground, I can address that.
Someone drop a cup.
So you're addressing
let's put this into action.
Yeah. So like you're addressing that instead of when you're just doing material.
Yeah.
Like you're almost like robotic. Someone said something in the back of the room that might throw you off because you've got this robotic material that you're killing. The moment something happens that was not a part of the plan, now you're screwed. So I was like, all right, cool. Yep. I want to be able to address what's happening. If I'm asking, is there any who does this for work? Who's from out of town? Like all of those elements became a part of my everyday routine.
That's the first time I've heard that, man.
Yeah. So those are the goals that I set for the last year, emceeing and being able to address those. Because you can be the best damn comedian in the room, but if you can't do crowd work and address what happened in that moment, then you get caught with the dick in your hand. You know what I mean? And nothing says it's not ready more than not being able to address a sideline thing that was not prepared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen that before. I saw a comedian recently did really well on stage. There was one bit in the show where someone said something that I was like, he just kind of paused and waited for the crowd to settle, and then he just kept on going with the material, and I was like, missed opportunity.
Address that,
Missed opportunity.
Exactly.
Look, it was his first time up on that stage. He did really well, but at the same time, I was like, I know what you're talking about now because I can relate it to what he could have done.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So you're saying being an MC helps elevate that game.
Exactly, because you're not here to bang, 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 bang. A good MC knows that the show's not about them. The show's about the audience and the comedians coming on board. So what you need to do as an MC is to make sure that the audience are warm enough and ready enough for what's about to happen. So that you learn that from MCing.
That's sick, bro. You know, I've only ever seen you on the screen, and I just had a moment just there while you were talking. I was like, this guy's sitting in front of me right now. Just had a moment just there.
Moment.
Well, give us a timeline on it though. Like, when did you start? Like, when was Raw? Where's this all this in relation to Raw?
Raw was 2018.
Right. Okay.
So when I did my first ever gig, it was the end of November. It was like November 22nd or something.
2018?
2016.
16.
But then I did a gig the next day and didn't do anything until 2018.
Right.
So it's like up until Raw. So so I didn't do anything for a year. So when people ask, when did you start stand-up comedy to a comedian? There's usually two dates. There's when did you first step up, and then when did you consistently start doing it.
Yeah.
So 2018 is when I it's consistently started doing it. So that was 7 years ago.
And then Raw was
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So end of 2017 is when I.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you won Perth, then they flew you to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And what was that experience like?
It was electric, man. Like just being in that big town hall.
Yeah.
I
mean, you did mention
the
that
atmosphere.
Saw that
it was you could feel the electricity in the air. I mean, it was just beautiful, man.
And it's a competition, right? So
and I love to compete.
Yeah.
I love to compete.
How were you placed in that final Australian final?
Yeah.
Was it just one comic from each state?
No. So Melbourne has a lot of the comics that come out.
Yeah.
But there was like maybe two from Sydney,
Right, okay.
Tasmania. There was from different states. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Like when I'm back home, I did this show called The Gong Show.
I heard of it.
Yeah. So The Gong Show.
Can you explain that?
Yeah. So it's like 3 minutes. Comedians come up, do 3 minutes. The winner at the end gets $350. But the audience decide. So you could come up and they could not like the look of you and get rid of you.
Is that I'm picturing a gong, like someone just goes bong.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't like the look of you?
Yeah. So if there's paddles. So if enough paddles get up, like 5 or more.
It's like an auction.
Yeah, so then they just gong you off.
500,000.
Yeah. Which is a bad look. One black guy on stage. Not for sale, man.
Okay, so they stick their paddles up, and maybe a dozen go up, and you're off.
Yeah. So that's the only bit of competition that I really be doing when it comes in reference to other comedians. Yeah. But that in itself is because it allows you to sharpen that blade, like knowing that the power is in the hands of the audience is already nerve-wracking as it is. So being able to combat that and being able to use that to your advantage it makes you a better comic. Like I became a better comic because of the Gong Show.
The Gong Show. Do you run? Yeah. Is that the set? Did you run that? Do you run that? Or
no, so I MC it sometimes as well. Yeah. But I prefer to compete on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that friendly competition it's with your peers.
Yeah.
Like it's great. You know what I mean? Like it allows you to step into that hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like and it reminds me about when I first started out. You know what I mean? I won the comedian of the year back in 2021.
Nice.
2021, I think it was.
Was that a national thing or?
No, that's for my home club.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But the reason why I outshined everyone that year was because I would catch the bus from my house, which was only like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'd write my set while I'm on my way to the Gong.
Yeah.
And I'd utilize knowing that I've got 3 minutes to impress these people.
Yeah.
And every time I stepped up on that, I'd win. I was self-proclaimed Gong King. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And but I loved it. Yeah. I love the competition of it, and it forced me to write. So like I would write all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that allowed me to, like, obviously more material means more work ethic, means you have to hit more mics to go test it out, because none of that stuff can be passed off until you bring it in front of an audience. You know what I mean? And then when the audience decide that they don't like it, they don't like it.
Yeah.
Who's more honest than the people that you're trying to impress?
No, and it's a unique thing too, because if you do stand up anywhere else, like the audience just have to sit through it, and they don't get a chance to tell you that they want you off.
Yeah.
Unless you get some drunk lady in the front row that goes,
we're on Prosecco. Girl's not out.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, and you touch on a point there about writing. You know, I think I've spoken to a couple of comics the last 2 days, and they've told me that their challenge at the moment is that the comfort zone for them has become just going up on stage, but both of these two acknowledged that they're not writing enough. Yeah, so you've developed some kind of...
Yeah, so if you're happy doing that same tired 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or that routine that you know that is safe, and you know that they love it, there's only so many times you can do that. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like I myself coming out to Melbourne, if I'm doing the same material that I was doing years ago, and I'm trying to build myself a fan base, and they saw me last year, and then they see me again this year, and I'm doing the same stuff. What is the incentive on coming to see me again if you've already seen it? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like making sure that you've got that fresh stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like like be topical. Like, like be up to date what's happening right now. Yeah. Like making sure like I like to address what's happening in our current climate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
I've noticed.
So it's relatable.
Yeah.
Plus my kids are grown. Like I speak about my kids. Like I speak about what it was like when they were born, or like this little phase that my son's going through, or like.
Dude, I saw you on stage the other night at the Comics Lounge. Now I've got to retract what I said before, that I'd only seen you on the screen. That's not true. I had seen you at the Comics Lounge. Okay. You did this bit about your son trying to get you busted for something because he wants to keep you home. That was a good bit, bro.
Thank you, man.
That was a good bit. I was like, where's he going with this? And he's like, he wants to get his daddy home. So that's one mean kid. That's not a true story, is it?
No, but it comes from the conversations that I have with him, because
He's like trying to get his dad locked up.
yes, I'm always on FaceTime with him,
Yeah.
especially when I'm overseas. And one thing that was certain was when you come back home, we miss you. And so I'm taking you through that journey of let you know that it's not what it's all cracked up to be. Look what I'm missing out on right now.
Yeah.
I got my son back home, missing his daddy.
That's
But
true.
I'm out here having to do this because this is the only avenue for this career that
Bro,
I've chosen.
ultimately, they'll be proud of you.
Mm.
You know, whatever they have to overcome themselves as kids to sort of, you know, to deal with you gone, and you miss out on stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what was the alternative for you? Like I guess-
Warehousing, like
Exactly.
Yeah, no, like,
You were talking about being a labourer.
yeah, man. Like I was working in warehousing for about 10 years, and
You get to come home every day from warehousing.
yeah, but like, I hated that job, and I remember like, every bit of my body was sore. Like I was tired, like my back hurt, and I remember seeing this one guy, Kevin. He was 50 years old at the time, and Kevin was talking about how he wants, like he's sick of the job, but he's like, "What am I gonna do, Emo?
Yeah.
I'm gonna quit, and then who's gonna hire a 50-year-old?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I stayed as long as Kevin did, I'm stuck at that job. What am I gonna do after that?
That's very real, bro.
Who hires a 50-year-old for a new career?
That's very
You
true, bro.
either grow with that company, or like at the age of 50, your chances of getting hired, they would rather that 22-year-old guy. You know what I mean? Faster, stronger. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You ain't got to worry about his back popping out and having to do a work compo.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta figure something out, man. Like, and it really troubled me for a very long time.
It did.
Yeah, because I was like, I need a way out. I can't be Kevin.
Had you thought about other ways out? Had you ever thought of comedy as a way out?
No, I didn't. But shouts out to my boy Joe. Like he had started doing stand-up comedy before I did, and I saw the fulfillment that he was getting from that. And he had left his banking job actually and started doing stand-up comedy full time. Like it looked glamorous. Now looking back, like he was on a strict budget. Like I just saw, oh, you just get to perform and that's all you're doing. Like it looked good. You know what I mean? I don't see the sacrifices he has to make. So he's living very minimal. You know what I mean? He's got an X amount of money in his bank account that he's from his banking job that he saved. He was able to move to Canada because he had money that he had saved. And I'm like, all right, cool. I want to do this full time. Look, Joe's doing it full time.
Yeah. So he kind of was a bit of a mentor in a way, but also he set out a blueprint a little bit, somewhat.
Yeah, he made it look possible.
Yeah.
So I was like, all
That's
right.
what we need.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what we need. We need people in society that make something look possible, even
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they fail.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you know, even if they fail, even if they don't climb all the way up Everest, you know that they made it to base camp. So you know that you can at least make it to base camp.
Facts. Yeah,
And
facts.
maybe you can take a few extra steps, but you don't know if you can make it to the top.
But you can
know,
make
that person inspired you at least get started.
Exactly, man.
That's great.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that Joe did that for you. And so, okay, I'm working on a timeline here. I structure all my episodes differently. I sort of go with the person, but I'm working on a timeline here. Okay, so then, you've decided to go professional at some point.
Yeah, so I did raw comedy back.
Sorry if it feels like I'm grilling you,
No,
bro.
no.
This
no.
is supposed to be more like a
No,
chat.
this is cool, man. I'm loving it.
Good, man.
So
I
I
love
did.
that.
So I did raw comedy back in 2018.
Yep.
And then the same year, so that was in April. Same year in November, I said, all right, cool, I'm gonna do my 1 hour show, and I'm gonna do it in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So I started writing my 1 hour show.
You're still working.
Still working at Coles. I'm writing my 1 hour show. It was dog shit, but I was giving it a crack. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I did my 1 hour show. Came to Melbourne. Did it at Toffintown, which was great because
That's a cool venue.
yeah, it gave me a feel of knowing that it's possible.
Yeah.
Like I packed the room out. I had people come watch the show. The material wasn't the best. Like, I'm looking back right now, I'm like, oh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But from that, it encouraged me. I got invited to Just for Laughs in Montreal in 2019.
That's a big event, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Biggest. It's one of the biggest festivals. So I got invited to that. So I went there in September.
Mm-hmm.
So I went Just for Laughs. And then when I came back, I had told my work, Coles, I said, hey, I want to go to. I need some annual leave. I'm gonna go away for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But like, oh no, that's a busy time of the year, mate. You can't. I said, all right. And then I saw that there was a clause in our contract.
Yeah. What was the clause? Take note, people.
Casuals can take as much time as they want off.
Yes, they can. That's very true.
So I said, hey, I don't want to be full time anymore. Where do I sign on the dotted line to be a casual?
Yeah.
They said, you want to be casual? You sure? I said, yep, I want to be casual. So I moved from full time to casual, and then as soon as they approved my casual status, I said, I need some annual leave. I took my 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Took my 4 weeks off.
This guy, everyone. Yeah. This guy, he reads the fine print.
Yeah. Came back. Then they weren't rostering me because of what I had done.
Sure.
Which was cool.
Because they felt dumb because you'd pulled one on them.
Yeah. So they weren't rostering me, which was fine. That was around November, and then remember, January is Fringe. February is.
Yeah, bro.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like I've got enough money right now to kind of sit this one out. So I sit it out, and Fringe came along, and then COVID. So
okay.
that was
so you were just getting started.
Yep, but it couldn't have happened at a better time, mate.
Because that led into the mine gigs and
that forced us into hibernation. So now I am at home, along with the rest of the world, to sit out. Will I take out our super? Will I do that twice? Yeah. So I took out 10 grand, took out another 10 grand. That was 20 grand. And then we're getting paid $1,500 a fortnight. Job keep. So cash was coming in. Bro. Now we got money coming in. You're not spending it in anything. So like, as soon as we're allowed to, as soon as the board we're allowed to go back out in small amounts and stuff, I started putting on my shows. So I do monthly shows. I do a show over here once a month. Mm-hmm. I do a show over there once a month, which worked out to be a show every single week because I do a show of this part of Perth, this part of Perth, this part of Perth. Do that 4 times in a month. That's a show a week. You know what I mean? And that brought some cash flow in. So for a while, that was what my income was.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I had the income coming through from my shows that I was doing. Yeah. Plus I had the super sitting there, and but then we kept going into snap lockdowns and this and that, and borders opened up and we're allowed to go do the mining stuff. Yeah. Like so, there's so many elements that made this possible. Yeah. For me to be a full-time comedian.
It's like serendipitous events.
Yeah.
Occurred right at the perfect timings.
Yeah. And when I did,
you make your own luck though.
Yeah. So when I did the thing with Dooley.
No, leave your foot there. I was just looking at the battery.
Yeah. So when I did the thing with Dooley, I remember we had just done the last show, and Dooley goes, "So what's next for you, Emo?" And I was like, "I don't know, Dooley. I'm gonna try to get into cruise ships." He goes, "Oh, I've got a mate that does cruise ships. If you want, I can connect you with him." I said, "All right, cool, man." So he gave me his number. I texted him while we're at the airport. I was like, "Hey, Chris Dooley told me you do cruise ships. Wondering how I can get onto him." I texted him. I board the flight. We land 2 hours later. He had messaged me. He goes, "Give me a call. Give me a call when you get home." So I called him. Rush Rider. I said, "Hey, Emo." He goes, "Hey, are you busy right now?" I said, "No, I'm not." He goes, "Cool. I'll interview you right now." So then he begins to interview me. He's asking me how much material I've got, if I got clean, about this and that. I said, "Yep." And he liked everything they heard about me. He goes, "Cool, no worries. I'll pass your details on to my agent, Rosemary, who's my agent now as well." So Rosemary had me send her a video clip. Within an hour, she said, "Yep, cool. I like what I see." She sent me the contract.
That's so fast, bro.
Yeah,
That's so fast.
And just like that, man. I needed to get onto the cruise ships because that was a residual income, just like the dually thing. Yeah, I'm very strategic when it comes to like doing the cruise ships ensures that I never have to do construction on the side, and I'll be working in the field that is stand-up comedy. Like it's not a wasted hour. You know what I mean? Like it's time well spent. So yeah,
strategic and with elements of luck thrown in the way.
Yeah.
You know, of just fortune, good fortune.
Yeah.
I don't like using the word luck too much because it sounds like you had nothing to do with it.
No, you gotta create your own luck. Yeah. You create your own luck.
Bro, that's such a great story.
Thanks, man.
That's such a great journey. Yeah.
Yeah, and still going. The journey
Still
continues.
going. Yeah, when I started following you last year, you were on your way to the United States.
Yes. So even right now, I'm doing my US visa, which is on hold at the moment because America is quite hot right now.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, but I still got another $4,000 to walk towards my visa.
Right.
The thing is, I could pay it, but then I can't go to the US with no money.
Yeah, sure.
So I've got to stay back a little bit longer.
Yep.
I was supposed to go May 1st, but it's looking more like June, like end of June.
It's the start of their summer.
Yeah, which will line up nicely because I will have the money to finish off my visa, but then I will have enough money to sustain me while I'm there for a couple months.
Yeah.
Then I'm doing the festivals in Canada.
Right.
So the account will be topped back up again. So I have another 20 grand come through in September.
I hope you're taking notes, people watching this.
Yeah.
You're very strategic.
Yeah, you got to.
I love it.
Yeah, so just pushing it back a little bit, it will line up nicely with my Canada tour. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So.
And so, what's the plan with the US? Because I was talking to David Rose.
Yeah.
He was, Ashley Feza actually was.
That's my boy.
Yeah, was talking about. He was talking about how because there's 50 states.
Yeah.
There's a city in every state. You could basically do stand up in a different city every week.
Yeah, man.
And have a career there.
Yeah, for sure.
So are you sort of planning on just?
Yes, I'll be based in LA, but what you do is you set up tours, right? So you go to Seattle for the weekend. The clubs give you weekend runs. So you do 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows on Saturday night. You know what I mean? So that's 4 shows all up. Yeah. So you do those kind of runs. So you go to Seattle, go to Pittsburgh, just set up your tours like that.
Yeah.
And if you're a workhorse like myself and my partner, you just hop in a van and you do shows in this city, do shows in this city, shows in this city, and just work your way around.
Your partner does comedy?
Yeah, my partner's a stand-up comedian too. Yeah.
Oh, cool,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Give her a shout out.
Yeah. Aliya Kanani. Shout out to my baby. Aliya Kanani.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you guys are in this. It sounds like you guys have got a good team going on.
Yeah.
You and her.
Yeah.
Started with
She's in LA right now. She actually just did her first spot at the big room in the Comedy Store, which is a huge deal because it's hard to get on those shows. So she's out there making a splash right now.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It feels good. Yeah. I was thinking before when you were telling the story about how you both quit together.
Yeah.
It's like, how good is it when you have someone that's there for you?
Yeah.
To,
and that girl got my back, man. I got hers. Yeah.
Yeah. To spur you on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I can imagine, for everyone, getting up in the morning is a challenge for people.
Yeah.
At a base level, and then going on doing your grind, but when you've got a partner in crime that's
Yeah.
doing it with you,
Yeah, exactly.
that's special.
Yeah, we're on the same lineups. We're setting up we got a couples show as well. It's called Couples Therapy.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, that's so it's a 1 hour show, where we do 20 minutes off the top. We just flip a coin, or who gets the headline.
Yeah.
Or if it's in her hometown, she'll headline. If it's my hometown, our headline. We do it according to Phil. You know what I mean? So yeah. So 20 minutes. That's 40 minutes, and then we have an opener. Does 10 minutes, and then at the end of the show, we've got 15 minutes where her and I are on stage
Together.
Yep, and then we we take questions, and then those questions kind of go into us like into stories and experiences that's happened. You know what I mean?
What are the yeah? Because that's quite a unique thing.
Mm.
Like I can't like I don't see comedians taking questions very often.
Yeah, we both got mics and it's been recorded. Like we get clips out of them. You know what I mean?
Is it so? The theme is kind of like a couples theme.
Yeah, so it's about because we have ourselves a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
Like, and we've had a long distance relationship for about 5 years. You know what I mean? So it's about the challenges that we've faced. We fucking dealt with COVID, being kept away from each other for 2 years.
Where's she from?
She's from Toronto.
Right.
So next to Melbourne, like Toronto had the longest lockdown as well.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like where they were just locked in for like they were essentially prisoners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she
PTSD is coming back.
Yeah, yeah. So she, we have that long distance relationship that we've gone through obstacles, and we still maintained it. We broke up during COVID because it was like
It was hard.
Yeah, it was
Who
hard.
didn't?
Yeah. We didn't know where the finish line was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we end up reconciling and getting back together.
Yeah.
And so we got this show that we tour around. Because it's such a unique relationship.
Bro,
I live in Perth. She lives in Canada. Literally, you could stick a pin in the globe, and the other side where it lands is where she's at.
Right.
12-hour time difference.
Yeah.
12 a.m. 12 midnight.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like literally, like daytime, nighttime, night and day. Like literally, that's what. Like I say good night to her. She says good morning to me.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
hard, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've managed to sustain it, and it was great, man. Like it just shows the test of time, that this relationship, the resilience that we've got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two resilient people doing stand-up comedy separately but together.
Yeah. And we push each other as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, we write together. We punch up each other's jokes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How did you two meet?
We met here in Melbourne, 2018, man. We're just we're both opening up for Joe White.
Yeah, right.
So we met, just met. Nothing, whatever. It was just two comedians just working, doing the same show.
Yep.
And I was in a relationship at the time, and then a year later, now I'm single, broken up, no relationship. We end up we're hanging out, and we end up just hitting it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you met through comedy as well.
Yeah.
Man, you got to write the bio. When's your autobiography coming out?
Yeah, I did.
It's a good one.
Needs to come out for sure.
It's a good one.
Needs to come out for sure.
Yeah. Because I usually do a lot of research on my guests, and it's something that I'm kind of, respected for amongst my guests. But because of my crazy schedule of recordings, especially this weekend, didn't get to do a lot on you, to be honest.
It's all good, man. Like I love that this is happening organically.
Yeah. So
it's cool.
I'm kind of like a bit mind blown at the moment at this journey, man.
Oh, for real?
It's very much a blue collar work, grind journey mixed with like.
We stay hustling.
Yeah,
we stay hustling. Yeah, I'm a hustler. Like, no is not an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, failure is not an option.
Yeah. Who do you look up to in the scene? It's like
Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's like he's my comedy hero.
Yeah.
People like Patrice O'Neill, just unapologetically just being who they are. Just Dave, Chris Rock. I'm a fan of Andrew Schultz. Like I love the art form that is comedy. I mean, and I love every voice that comes out. Bill Burr. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to stand up comedy, man. Honestly, like I love it, man.
Yeah. I was talking to Gemma about that before. I was like, stand up comedy is the only art form that it's a safe space to explore anything.
Exactly.
And tell any story.
Because the way I see it is, we're journalists. We tell
somewhat.
Yeah, we report things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're storytellers. We like what's happening in the Ukraine. We bring that to the storefront and bring it to the audience and raise awareness what's happening in Gaza.
Yeah.
The elections. Like, you want to find out something, stand-up comedian will deliver it in a way that your simple mind can understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But the other thing that comedians do really well is that they put a critical, creative kind of lens on things.
Yeah.
So they're not just bringing things to your awareness. They're doing it in a way that other media forms aren't doing it.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
it's a different perspective. It's a
Yeah.
different spin
You
on
put
that
it-
thing.
You're making it digestible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's been put into a capsule that you can swallow without choking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Journalist. Yeah. I don't know.
That's how I see it. Like, we report what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not all comedians.
Yeah,
Not all
of course.
comedians. Like, I like reporting what's happening.
Yeah. It's a
'cause
good source of material.
Yeah, and I also like I feel like it's our social responsibility to raise awareness on. Like, I see us as a voice,
Yeah.
and when you're a voice, you got that responsibility that comes with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have to raise awareness of what's happening within my community. Like, as a father, a young father at that. Like, perhaps one that's gone through and doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. Like, letting you know that you're not out there alone. That it's all right. Keep doing, like, you're doing a good job. Having my mother do everything in the family, like, and being able to give her flowers. Like, there's someone that can relate to everything that you're talking about. You know what I mean? And I've had someone come up to me at a show one time, told me that she has a mixed race child that feels lost and doesn't know where he belongs. And she had brought him to one of my shows, and she had DM'd me and told me how much that show changed her son's perspective and allowed him to take up that space and claim his identity. You know what I mean? Which was beautiful, man.
That is
like,
nice, bro.
Yeah, which is beautiful because, like, the point of all this is to be able to inspire and to be able to for the have-nots. That young 10-year-old Emo Majok that doesn't know what he wants to do. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my dad wants me to be a doctor. I'm not smart enough to be a doctor. But there's other avenues. I'm funny. You know what I mean? So letting people know that there's more than what your parents require you to. Like, your life is you're the captain. So steer it in the direction that you want.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You know, it says something to me. At first, we sort of pursue these art forms or these hustles or ventures, whatever you call this, or whether it's this or stand up, and we're doing it for ourselves. You know, we need to find, like what you said. You know, like you saw that Joe was getting a lot of fulfillment, and you didn't have that fulfillment. So, like, in your Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it was fulfillment had to come first. But at some point, you get noticed enough that someone sends you a message like that, and you realized, oh, what I'm doing is more than about me now.
Exactly.
It's like it's having an impact, and then it's your choice what you do when you have that knowledge. Once you're armed with that knowledge of, like, shit, I'm having an impact. Yeah. Someone sent me a message saying, hey, that's the best thing I've listened to, or you've changed my son's perspective. Yeah. It's like, okay, now I've got to make a choice about whether I'm going to be conscious about that and how I go about things. Exactly. Or not, or just continue on my path. And I'm not saying there's one's right or wrong, because like someone could send you a message like that and you go, oh, that's really sweet, really cool. I'm going to keep staying in my lane. Yeah. But then some people like yourself, it seems like you've chosen to acknowledge that and accept that there's a responsibility there, part of being you on stage. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. That's really cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, well, thank you for coming to my therapy session. Yeah, the pleasure's all mine, man. I appreciate you having me on here. I look forward to coming back on here again. Yeah, bro, absolutely. You know, it's the festival has been really great for me to meet people. Nice. And I think it was like when I first met Joe at the Comics Lounge, he was like I said, he took a risk. You know, like I hadn't really done any comedians that he knew or anything. Just but you got a vibe, like, and it paid off. Yeah, yeah. And now it's like I'm DMing people, and they're like, oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh,
Yes.
really? I'm like, you see me?
Yeah, man. All right, dude.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah, man. Like
I'm
you're
like,
out there.
"No."
You're out here, man. You're out here.
It's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it's just awesome, man.
It's-
Honestly,
yeah.
it'll only just grow. Like I did this podcast. I'm a regular on this podcast in Perth.
Yeah, what's
Shout
it
out,
called?
shout out to the Hard Yarns.
Hard yarns. I've
Yeah.
seen it. I've seen those
yeah,
guys.
when I first started doing the pod, they had a couple hundred, 150, 200. They've just hit 80K followers
Whoa.
on one social network,
That's crazy.
and they've on different avenues. Like they're thriving in all of them. You know what I mean? So it's beautiful. Like to be somewhere
Watch.
in its infancy.
Yeah.
And then watch how far it goes. You know what I mean? So
That is beautiful.
I look forward to seeing where this is next year and the year after.
man.
And yeah, like just keep at it, man.
Yeah.
When you get some momentum, don't take your foot off the brake. Accelerate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. That's really nice to hear. And it's it is about momentum. It's the biggest thing I realized.
Yeah.
I was like, 2022, I was burnt out, did 22 episodes. 2023, I was burnt out, did about 22 episodes. Sorry, 2024. And then I was like, all right, how do I set a stretch goal for this? I'm going to do 40 episodes, which is like the last 2 years combined. And I was like, the first thing I thought was like, fuck, how am I going to do 40 episodes? I was burnt out the last 2 years. You know what I realized? Been going out drinking pretty much every Tuesday, Thursday night for like 4 or 5 months of the year.
You pull that off.
Yeah.
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 So there you go.
I'm like, okay, stop doing that.
Yeah.
Then your 40 eps becomes easy. You know, I'm on track now. What are we? April. So we're like a third of the way through the year.
Yeah.
This is my 20th recording,
There you go, bro. How easy is 40 gonna be?
which means I can hit the piss like for a couple of weeks. And
There you go. My man.
well, look, the festival's been fun for that. And
Yeah.
we were talking about Chris Franklin before.
Mm.
And then so Lars mentioned Chris.
Yeah.
And then he was like, Lars on Sunday was like, oh, come to the after party tonight. And I was like, oh, I'm work Monday. A bit tired, but yeah, let's do it. I went to the after party, bro. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
dude.
it's one of my favorite shows. Like comedians love that show because it's just ruthless. Yeah, it's such a great show, man. Like, so yeah, shout out to the
And then I met the
legend
guy,
Chris Franklin.
and I was like, I can't believe I'm meeting the guy.
Yeah,
At the side.
that's Chris.
And then Lars was like, oh yeah, this is Chris, get him on your podcast. And I was like, Chris, he's like, yeah, I'm up for it. It's just got to be after the festival. And I was like, oh man, this is kind of like, this is elevating way faster than what I thought.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
Before you know it,
It's a lot of fun.
hey, let me do 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I think like you, like just listening to you talk about the strategy and the steps, it's like I'm starting to develop that mindset now.
Got to, man.
I'm like, okay, so 40 is becoming realistic now
Yep.
because I'm already at April and have done like early April. by
Always
the
want
way.
more. Like, and it'll happen easier and easier. You know what I mean? Like there's a level of anxiety that comes with it when you're like, oh my God, I did 20 last year and now I'm gonna do 40. But then when you do the 40, you're like, oh, it's August and I've already done the 40. So let me just chuck in another 10 right now as a bonus round. Like I already done it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Like this can only help and grow the brand. So let me just chuck in another 10. And then you realize that you could probably do 70 the year after because it's happening. Like it's happening organically. It's so much easier. You know how to edit faster now. You know how to put them. You know what I mean? So like, yeah.
Well, I'm editing less now.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to be I used to scrutinize it like insanely. No, cut that bit. Like, get rid of that.
Just put it out organically.
And now I'm just kind of like, yeah, you're going to think this is crazy, but my first episode was about half hour long, just over half hour long, and I spent about 20 hours editing it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. It was audio only.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, perfectionism was just crippling me.
Yeah.
And then, I started doing video last year and I started bringing that same perfectionism into that. And then I looked at one of my recent eps and I was like, look, the eps get views and watch hours over time.
Yeah.
But you sort of look at one recent one, you're like, this week, what? Like 50 views, 2 watch hours? I'm like, I'm not sure I can justify the 10 hours it's taking me to edit an episode anymore.
Yeah.
So now I shrunk that 10. In the last week, I shrunk 10 down to 4 for an app.
Okay.
So it's like, it's happening like, it's going, okay, edit less, produce more.
That's it, man.
Don't judge yourself as much. Don't care as much about that little thing that happened that didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know,
Just put them out.
Yeah.
Just put them out.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Are you doing many other podcasts or anything?
I do so many podcasts.
Yeah.
Like if someone hits me up and asks me to do their podcast, like I'm more than happy.
You're an open guy.
Yeah, because I feel like when we tap into each other's
brands, network.
brands, then you get to meet the people that I'm working with, and I get to kind of meet the
That's
people.
true.
Yeah.
That's a very like I love that mindset. Reminds me of the saying that all ships rise with the tide.
There you go, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tide comes in, all ships rise.
Information is meant to be shared, not to be kept. You know what I mean? So like if you're exposing your audience to something that might be of some benefit from me, then vice versa. Like then you don't know what happens down the track with that. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So did you come up with a special show for this festival?
So African Aussie is my my festival show that I've been
African Aussie.
Yeah, that I've been touring. I've just been sharpening and honing in on it. So it's almost perfected right now. It's perfected, but I want to film it and put it out at some point.
Yeah.
So like because I'm still touring it globally.
Yep.
I'm there's still a little bit of squeeze left in it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I still got to take it out to Canberra, Darwin, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we're just getting towards the end of it. I'm writing a new show right now.
Yeah.
So by next year, April, by next year January, I'll have a new show for the Fringe Festival. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing during this chat that I've really come to appreciate about you is like that prolific writing that you do, and that you believe in that. Like continue to write. But
man.
I'm thinking back, I've still got visions of you on the bus writing your material from when you were telling that story before.
Yeah.
And I was somewhat thinking to myself, wonder if he's like between stops doing material for the people that are getting on the bus.
No. I'm writing it and putting it on my voice notes and my notepad.
Yeah. And so African Aussie, is it sort of a bit more about like has it got a theme?
It's a life bio, so it's about my family fleeing from Sudan to us eventually being in Australia, and the culture clash that we faced, and parenting, dating life, touring, international comedian now, just from start to present day. So that just walks you through what this journey has been.
Dude, what's the biggest culture clash for you?
Biggest culture clash for me, I think the difference in language was one main one, but just being able to maneuver between the different slangs, just switching on the tap and having unlimited water running was, you know what I mean? Because our water came from wells, you know what I mean?
Completely take that for granted, bro.
Yeah. So like it's like I take it for granted now, but like it's just beautiful just being out here in Australia.
Switching on a tap.
Yeah.
I'm just putting myself in those shoes, just going on, off.
Yeah.
On, off.
Yeah, man.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
that's
man.
so good. Well, man, it's been such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me,
It's
brother.
been really good. First time we met. This has been amazing. Can't wait to do this again with you sometime when you're
likewise.
back.
Yeah, you legend.
And so, and when like, what do you foresee your next coming back to Australia? Are you will that be US over their summer and then come back, get ready?
Yes,
for...
I'll come back to Australia end of September.
Yeah.
So I'll finish off my Canada tour.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back to Oz in September because I got cruise ship tours.
Yeah.
So between September and January, I'll be back, but I'll go back.
Yeah.
Because it'll be my base. But then I'll be back in January, February, March, April, May, June. January, February, March, April, May, and then head back again.
Yeah. Well, let's pencil it in for the same time next year.
Let's do it, man. I'm with that.
Yeah, because I want to hear all about how the US goes.
For sure.
Yeah, and Leah, is she coming down?
Aliya will be here, yeah.
Aliya, is it?
Yeah,
Sorry,
Aliya,
I
yeah.
said it wrong.
Yeah, I'll set it up if you want for her to jump up.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But
Yeah.
yes, but she's going to come back with you.
Yeah, so she tours as well. Like,
Yeah, because there's a little part down here in my heart was like, you two going to stick together a bit, get to see each other a bit more. And
Yeah, so we're gonna officially be living together
in the US.
Yeah. So in June. So
Yeah. And then she's going to come here with you
Yeah,
while you
so-
do the cruise ship tours and everything, or is she going to stay?
well, she's got her own things that are happening.
Yeah,
But
okay.
but like obviously, if I'm doing like 2 weeks and I've got a week or two, I go back to LA. You know what I mean?
You want getting a lot of frequent flyer points.
Yeah. Stocking those up, man.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, man.
Well, honestly, Murray, it's been a real pleasure, and thank you
Thank
so
you.
much again. And I
I
can't
appreciate
wait.
it.
Where are you playing tonight?
Tonight I've got Elephant and Wheelbarrow Comics Lounge, and I've got a gig at Dirty Secret at 6 p.m. as well.
Dirty
Yeah.
Secrets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, is that in Smith Street?
That's I'm not sure. Like I'm
Put it in the Google.
yeah. I think it's in Carlton.
What's your handle? Where can everyone catch you?
Emo Majok, EMO, last name Majok, MAJOK.
Emo Majok.
Yeah,
It's been-
all platforms. Yeah.
yeah, like that. See?
Yes.
Spell it like that, but with an at in front of it and those two squished together.
There you go.
All right, awesome,
man.
guys.
Hey,
Hey,
thank you.
Clap this one out.
All right.
Woo! Hey, round of applause. Yay!
Oh, that was fun.
That was really fun, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
Really good.